Hello and welcome to our webinar, 3 Proven Strategies for Taming Manufacturer Content Using the MEP Productivity Pack. My name is Jay Polding. I'm an industry solution specialist with SolidCAD, and I just help companies learn how to use and implement design technology in their workflow, just make a success out of that with them. And we'll also be joining us today is Patrick Simic, and I'm going to let him introduce himself once he gets into the demo portion of the presentation. We have another figure who has joined us as well. We'll talk more about him later. We are part of SolidCAD. SolidCAD is across Canada, and we are across all industries. You name the industry, we're involved somehow, because every technology that we support and sell and do services with is used in pretty much every industry you can think of. Right now, we're focusing on architecture, engineering, and construction. And one of the common services for that industry is BIM and AEC services. So building information modeling services can range from implementation, training, programming, there's scanning aspect, there's support. So that's something that Patrick and I have really enjoyed doing over the last number of years. So why use the mechanical, electrical, plumbing productivity pack? That's what we're really talking about today. Well, you want to start with something that's ready to go right away, not necessarily ready to assemble. So just take a look at this example here. Yeah, you've got everything you need on the left-hand picture, but really what you want to get working is what's on the right-hand side. And that's really what the MEP pack does for engineering firms. We'll talk more about how they do that, or how it can provide that ready to go effectiveness right away. So what is it? It's a content pack. So you're going to get folders that have the MEPPP content. So the productivity pack content, that would be like families, all linked with parameters. You get a sample project, you get schedules and details, you get shared parameters, which is really the backbone of data behind this. So all of the engineering will work with these families and content. You also have a starter project, so you can see in a sample project, how do we get going on this, and what does a good project look like? You get that as well. You get a user manual that has hundreds of videos on it, so you're never in the dark about how do I use this MEP pack. It's very clearly laid out. So for this webinar, we're going to be focusing on taming manufacturer content using this MEP productivity pack. Patrick is going to deep dive into using Parameter Jammer, Family Processor, and Hive. And of course, he's going to give you sort of an overview. I say deep dive, it's deeper than what I'm talking about right now, but he's going to give you an overview. So why are we bringing this guy up again? He keeps butting in. This is the content monster, also known as Cookie Monster. So, and that's really what a lot of firms are dealing with. They're trying to get their content sorted out, and it just becomes a monster because they might download from the internet content, people in the firm, and then it's not working with the schedule. It's not working with the engineering data. So how do you tame that? How do you get that so it's a system that works? People can find what they need, use it, and if there's an issue with it, report on it, and then put it back into the system. So you're taming that content monster. So I'm going to pass it over now to Patrick, and he's going to show you how to do that.
Perfect. Thank you, Jay. I'd like to share my screen here. So as Jay mentioned, my name is Patrick Simic from SolidCAD. I am a technical consultant on the AEC team. So as mentioned before, going to be just showing actually an example of the MEP sample project and seeing some of the key features that come with the actual pack itself, and then diving deeper to the parameter jammer, family processor, and utilizing Hive. So right now here, I got the MEP sample project. And as mentioned, inside of the user manual, there is a guide on how to use the productivity pack. So just kind of a quick overview, just looking at the project browser, we have already some view classifications. So when a project is starting, we can easily identify we got to go to our project setup views. All of the views within the packs, from floor plans, ceiling plans, sections, 3D views, they are embedded with view templates. So again, to have everything graphically shown the way that you want to, depending on the type of view you're working with. So if I just kind of open up a few of these views, double click into the project setup view, here we could see few scope boxes. We can see an architectural model in the background. And once again, you also in the properties see that we have a view template applied. So again, there are multiple view templates that will help quickly change graphically how you want things to look. So again, with the project setup views, as you link in your models, as you create your spaces and copy monitor your levels, we'll kind of start that starting of the project portion. Once we're complete with that step, we're then going to be using the next kind of two areas, are working views and analysis views. Any of the modeling that we are doing is going to be done within our working views. An example of a working view would be the HVAC plan. From this view, some of the things that we'll see, once again, with the view template, we'll see the main discipline. In this case, it is the HVAC. But as I kind of zoom in a little bit more, we'll also see the other disciplines, let it be electrical, mechanical piping, or plumbing. So again, why have this within the working view? It's another step to help you coordinate with different systems that are within your project. And again, making sure everything is clash-free. So again, utilizing your working views to do all your modeling, to get everything into place, will get you to that area. With your working views, there's also analysis views. So as you're creating a duct system, making sure that is fully enclosed so you do get the proper flow propagations within the project itself, your analysis views, once again, will have a view template applied to them to help identify where do we have a fully closed system, where do we have an open system. Here's an example of an analysis view. Blue, meaning that there's 5 CFM or more within the ducting or within the system itself. Red will mean there's no flow. So again, another great way to help you identify and model your project and making sure you have a fully closed system. As you kind of work with the working views and your analysis views, the final area is what do we put onto a sheet? That's where we're going to be having our construction documents. So with the productivity pack, all of these views from project setup, working, analysis, coordination, construction documents, they're already created within that project template file. So all we're really doing is linking in the model, doing our modeling, and then finally doing our annotating, which would be our construction documents. Since we're on the HVAC, I'm going to use that one as an example. If I go to my HVAC plan 01, double clicking into here, we'll see now, once again, same floor plan that we saw from the working view, but a different view template is applied, again, for the construction document side. And then our additional annotations have been placed here. A couple cool features within the productivity pack too is some of the families that have been created. They are very robust and have a lot of detail to them. Example would be an air terminal. As I select an air terminal, within the parameters of that air terminal, we do have some options that we can change. There is a message center telling us if we have properly selected an element that is built in within the family. So again, a lot of lookup tables, if something is wrong. So again, if I have 2 different types of systems, you'll actually see the family change into kind of like a face, already warning you that something is wrong, we need to fix it. So again, with that face already in place, or if we look at the message center, it already guides us to how we should be designing our specific elements. So again, that's one nice key feature within the content itself. Also, another one would be your VAV boxes. They are auto sizing. Out of the box, Revit does not have this. Within the MEP pack, VAV boxes have an auto size feature. So once you have a fully closed system and you have the proper information being driven by the air terminals, all that flow that's coming from the air terminals to the VAV box is then calculated, and then it's auto sizing based off of a criteria of the lookup tables that are within the families themselves. So again, a lot of nice features, not only with the viewing capabilities, but also the content that has been built. Another option or another feature within the pack itself is Creating sheets, placing these on the sheets does take a lot of time and work. Once again, that upfront work has been done for you. So by looking at our sheets over here, and I expand, again, it's a sample project. Still going to use the mechanical side. A list of sheets would already be in your project template. Along with onto these sheets, we will already have our views placed onto them. So again, a big time saver there when working on a project. All we're really doing is linking in the model, getting our data extracted from the architectural link itself, and then modeling all of our elements together and then annotating them towards the end. So again, within the productivity pack, a lot of upfront work has been done for you. It's content, it's modifiable to your standards and your needs. So diving down a little bit deeper now into some of the tools that CTC offers within the pack itself. So if I just jump back to my HVAC plan here, and I zoom into one of my spaces. If now, as a Revit end user, we come into an area where we have to use a specific type of manufactured content. So again, workflow would be go on the internet, download it, load it into the project, and hopefully it works. Will it work? Probably not. We got to do some fixing there. So as an example, I'm going to load in a specific VAV box that has been downloaded from the web itself. So again, selecting a Price Industries VAV box. With now our VAV box in place, maybe I'll just give it some height. Just gonna place it somewhere within my view. And now we have our new VAV. As I tag the VAV, we can start to add some information to it. So again, learning within the pack, just adding some additional information. So again, that would be the name of my VAV, along with making sure that it is on a proper schedule. So again, one of the crucial things that happens when you load in external content is the data that you have from the family itself doesn't actually show up within your schedules. So with our VAV box now in place, if I go look at one of the multiple schedules that are within the pack, so again, there's a lot of design schedules and then specific construction document schedules. We're going to be looking at a specific construction document schedule, part of the equipment side, and I'm going to go to my VAV box. So by double clicking here we can see now multiple VAV boxes along with that new one I've placed. As I start selecting some of the cells that I do have from my other VAV boxes and their parameters, they are not modifiable. So again, the data coming from the loaded in family itself does not actually work within my within my project itself. So what we can do here is use what is called the parameter jammer tool. So if I just go back to my floor plan here, going to my CTC tools. So again, as a Revit end user, we have the BIM project suite. So again, it's going to be a lot of these green tools that we'll see at the top. And the one we're looking for is the parameter jammer. I want the information to be modifiable or to be extracted from the actual family to work within my schedule. So what the parameter jammer will do when I open the tool up here, first, we're going to have the shared parameter. So again, the CTC pack comes with a large shared parameter file, many different shared parameters to make everything work as they should. On the left side, I'm going to select the schedule that I want to kind of work with. So again, here we can see the VAV box heating water schedule that I saw before. And then on the right side, which family do I want to make work within that schedule? They got a nice tool at the top here, pick families. So I just physically pick a family within the project itself. As I select that family, shared parameters also selected, clicking next. The tool will then open up another area where we'll see the parameters from the schedule itself on the left side, as we have here, and then the family parameters on the inside. So what you're able to do is you're able to match, if there's something existing in the family, you can match it to one of your shared parameters that you have within the pack, or you can create a new shared parameter for it. There are a couple different options. So if I select a drop down here, you'll see there's an existing voltage one from the family, or if I wanted to create a new type or an instance parameter, I could also do that. For demo purposes, I'm just going to have everything as an instance parameter selected for this specific VAV box. So as we have everything kind of mapped out as needed, I'm going to select next. So what parameter jammer will do is now look at all those shared parameters that were part of our schedule and then push that information to the family, which is now local within the project, and allow us to now have it modifiable and useful within the actual project itself. With the parameter jammer, as it kind of runs through and does its thing, you will also get a log report telling you what has been successfully processed or if there's any kind of errors to it. So you're always being tracked and notified about any changes that are within the family itself. Just going to give it a few seconds here to run through the parameter jammer.
Just while that's running, Patrick, I just want to make a note that so initially we talked about the MEP pack. That's a lot of the stuff that you can see right there. That's how you've made this project. And these are extra tools that can be purchased. There's a CTC project suite, BIM project suite, and then the BIM manager suite. So all of this together allows you to control the content monster. Okay, back to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Jay. So as you see here, we do have a log of what has been done to the actual family itself. Again, save it, print it out, or just kind of verify within this box itself. Gonna select OK, selecting my finish button, and now we have the family properly now processed within my project. Again, a couple of things I'm just gonna do here is just give it some more additional information to make sure it is properly scheduled on the correct schedule itself. And I'll also give it, once again, a value to update. So now with that new loaded in family, typically what would happen, you would have to add those shared parameters to the family. That's a long process. Parameter jammer does many parameters at one time. And coming back to the schedule itself, we'll now see there we have our specific family. And now as I start clicking in these new fields, they are now modifiable. So as a Revit end user, bringing in a family, loading it in, quickly running the parameter jammer, and then allowing yourself to modify any of that information that's needed to make sure that you are following the correct design criteria based off of those new families that you have. So again, parameter jammer is a nice quick tool for Revit end user that's bringing in a external piece of content to the project, making sure that it needs to work within the schedule, running the tool together, and now we'll have it being modifiable. Down the road, as the projects kind of build up or as the projects kind of end, Revit end users probably want to speak to a BIM manager saying, we need this kind of content within our projects, or we need to make sure that the content that we brought in is going to work seamlessly within our schedules. So from a BIM manager's side of it, looking at the families, we're not going to be loading it in and running the parameter jammer. We want to make it more robust. We actually want to modify the families initially, then load them into our project. So as a BIM manager, there is a tool underneath the BIM manager suite called our family processor. So as a Revit end user, you're inside of the project, you run the parameter jammer, but as a BIM manager, I'll then select the family and I'm just going to edit it. Right, let's do the double clicking option. So again, as you edit the family, how do we now input all of those shared parameters to this specific family that has to work with our schedule within the project? This is when that family processor tool comes into play. So once again, inside of the family itself, as I run the family processor tool, we'll open up a dialog box with many different options that we can modify. So again, the ones I'm going to be looking at mostly today is just going to be the parameters and how we could add them, how they could be modified, and how they could be adjusted. Once I go to the change parameter option, I'm going to select my shared parameter file. From here, we have that large list that comes with the CTC pack with those shared parameters. And with those parameters, and also with the tool itself, with CTC comes already specific settings that could quickly select all of those parameters for, say, the equipment that you're bringing in to automatically already preset some specific parameters, also default values, along with formulas. So you don't have to retype all those options there, which does take a long time. So I'm going to use an example here, the family processor parameter jammer with electrical. So again, that does come with the pack itself, which you could utilize with this tool. Once the settings are loaded, a couple options that we'll see here, adding shared parameters. So within that setting option, there's already a list of parameters that have been added. It is already mapped out to be an instance or a type, what group it's going to be a part of, and also some default values. Along with adding the shared parameters, there's parameters to change. So again, those same parameters that are being added, we have again, instance versus type, where is it going to be grouped under, default values, but then this is where the nice part comes in. Formulas are being also inputted to those families. So again, formulas do get large. Formulas do take a long time to kind of modify and update within the families. This specific, say, setting along with the tool will quickly allow you to do that. With all your settings now preset, as I go back now to a processing order, we could do many different things. What do we want to be done to the family? In this case, I would just say add shared parameters and do any changes to them. So again, having all those settings created and in order as I want, the final option would be selecting the family and then having it process. Not only can you do it to one existing family that you've opened, but if you have multiple families and you want to repeat those same steps, add those same shared parameters, add those formulas, you do have the option to do it to multiple families. Select multiple families, run the tool, take a coffee break, and then on your computer, the family processor will push all that parametric data to the families. And once complete, it is now ready to be used within your projects, along with those families also being properly mapped out to the schedules from the CTC pack. Not going to run the processing tool here, which it does take a little bit of time. But once you have now, as a BIM manager, the families processed, you have the new shared parameters, you have all the updated formulas, you have some default values, we need to distribute it to our teams. So one of the things that CTC has also created is what is called Hive. It is a content management system. So again, you could think about it as like a Google search, where if I'm an end Revit user, I want to go find a VAV box, I'm going to go to that Hive option, search it, and then load it in. So just to kind of demonstrate how this works, here we have the Hive area. In the CTC software tab also, we got Hive on the far end. So you could think about Hive as being kind of like a Google search for content. So in this case, if I were to go to look at some of the libraries that I have access to, different types of libraries can be created for specific clients, for specific disciplines, or just for specific teams also. Many libraries can be created. Many permissions can be also adjusted to different members. And in this case, once I go into a specific library, you'll start to see it's like a searching location. So here within this library itself, we have all these different types of families. You also have a search bar at the top. That's where kind of like the Google search comes into play. I type in VAV box, and as I click enter, it will then search through all the data, all the parametric data within any family that you've created. If it's a text, if it's a different type of unit value, it will then search for that. Here we could see we have different VAV box options that have been selected based off of my search criteria. And if I were to select one, so if I just select one of my existing families, on the right side, we'll now see based on how it has been uploaded to the Hive platform, we could then see the different parametric data that's associated with it. What is the unit? Imperial versus metric. Has it been created in what version? And again, additional information or parametric data can be used to search up this content. As the BIM manager loads up this Hive system with all the different content, and Revit user comes into it, searches for the elements, and to bring it into a project, it's as easy as just double clicking the family, giving it a few seconds to open up a dialog box. So in this case, it is upgrading since it was an older version.
I just wanted to add to Patrick that since it can either be cloud-based or it can be based on your server or a combination of both. So you can really work from anywhere. And if you're given permission, you can access your database of, or you can access your content.
Yep. Thank you, Jay. And as we can see here, just simply by double clicking the family, it is now upgraded into my project, loaded in, and ready for me to use. So again, I could come into here, placing it just outside of my view, and then we could always start moving forward and start working with the family. So again, looking at the cycle with Hive, as we started initially was from the parameter jammer. Revit end user wants a family to work within the project, needs to get it working with the schedule. They download the family, they load it in, they use the parameter jammer to force specific parameters to work and to be updated within the project itself. As a BIM manager role, the families that end users are using within the projects, those have to be modified with additional shared parameters that are being added, additional formulas that are being populated, and any additional kind of information to the family itself. That's where our family processor was then used. To kind of round trip that all around, BIM manager will then upload it to our Hive CMS. And from the Hive CMS, the end Revit user will come into here, look for the family itself, bring it into the project. And as you have that full cycle, all that parametric data will be updated. It'll work with the schedules. It will work with all your projects. So just kind of a conclusion here with the tools. So again, parameter jammer, you got the family processor, you got Hive, and also you have the really good CTC MEPPP pack with a lot of great content and also a lot of visual and graphics and preset things for your projects.
All right, thanks so much, Patrick. Amazing presentation. Really kind of gave us that overview on how we can tame Content Monster. So this was what Patrick just talked about. So just to be clear, the parameter jammer is in the CTC BIM project suite, and that can be purchased and then upgraded yearly. The family processor, again, that our family processor is in the CTC BIM manager suite, and that can also be purchased and then renewed yearly if you'd like. And then Hive is also an annual subscription. MEP Productivity Pack, you can buy it once and just use it across multiple versions, and then get the new version, or you can also get the pay the upgrade fee and get what's latest and greatest in the next year. I wanted to just focus just for a couple more minutes as we finish off here on the MEP pack. The MEP pack, really, the key here is, I'll just highlight the points. Over 10,000 hours invested, not just by anyone, by MEP engineers. So it's been developed by them for MEP engineers. And it's made to industry standards. It's constantly being looked at as to what standards it can apply to. And you can see here the standards that it works with right now. Of course, now it's available in metric and in imperial. So with that, we'll kind of wind down here. Just so you know a little bit about SolidCAD, we're part of a lot of industry associations across Canada, including CanBIM and other important associations. We work with many clients, as you can imagine, across Canada. And we're really happy that we were able to present this for you. And if you'd like any more information on this, just reach out to myself. And there's my information right there. So thank you very much for attending. And hopefully you too can get control of Content Monster with CTC tools.